And good morning, Boquete. You're listening to Boquete Now, talk radio on Radio Cherokee 103.3 FM. We're sponsored by Big Daddy's Grill and the ACCB in Boquete. We have a wonderfully fantastic special show for you today. We're gonna be talking with Lynn Vanderkar, who owns Finca Feliz, which just so happens to be the largest largest selection of plants in Boquete, and she does so much more. I was out there yesterday, and we're gonna have a lot of fun talking to Lynn. But before we do, I wanted to let you know, if you're not doing anything for Mother's Day, well, you should head on down to Isla Verde. That's the restaurant where the old Colibri restaurant used to be, for a Mother's Day celebration, and they have got a spectacular bois d'affaires for you all. $45 a person gets you a welcome cocktail, an amuse-bouche, an appetizer, palate cleanser, main course, and dessert. It's fantastic. I tell you what, man, if you want to eat a lot of food at really for what you get, the price is great. Chef Alexander Rojas, who is the executive chef for Isla Secas, and who has competed on Top Chef Panama and worked in several Michelin star restaurants in Europe, and also Chef David Mendoza, who is a nationally recognized pastry chef. He was part of the executive staff for the President and First Lady of Panama, and was also part of the investigative team for the cookbooks. They're teaming up for this pop-up kitchen event, again at the former Colibri restaurant. The concept will be fresh with lots of locally sourced veggies, all with a Panamanian twist. They are partnering with the Finca Santa Marta Landau Farms and Garrido Specialty Coffee. So, hey, don't miss it. Mother's Day, May 9th, 2021, 3 p.m. to 9 p.m., Isla Verde. So anyway, we've got Lynn Vanderkar on the show, and if you don't know Lynn, that's fine. She was at the Tuesday market for a long time, and when things quiet down a little bit, I'm sure she'll be back. Again, the largest selection of plants in Boquete, and the name of her farm is Finca Feliz, and it is in Volcancito. Is it Feliz?
Feliz. Happy Farm.
Happy Farms, and that's up in Volcancito. And I went up there yesterday. It was yesterday I came by. It was yesterday. Yeah, my day. I lose days. I lose hours. I lose minutes. And it wasn't what I was expecting. I was so just pleasantly surprised by everything I saw, and I got to taste a couple of little things she has there, some blackberries and sweet peppers. It was really a nice trip, and she's got so much going on there. It is a private nursery, and we're going to talk about that a little later, but welcome to the show, Lynn.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
It's really, really good to have you here. And again, thank you for inviting me out yesterday. That was an incredible operation you have there.
Well, you couldn't do an interview and not know what you're talking about.
Well, I don't often.
So it made a big difference for you too.
I don't often get a chance to go, and visit, but I made some time yesterday, and I'm glad I did. You have so many things over there: plants and orchids and seeds and tinctures and just
Avocados.
Three. You showed me 3 or 4 different types of avocados.
Varieties of avocados that I grow.
And you even have stuff that that doesn't grow here, that you can't get here, right?
What do you mean?
You have some unique plants.
There are things that I'm trying to grow that I grew in California. And right now I'm working on the pineapple guavas. They don't have them here. They're called Frajoa. Uh-huh. And they are the best ever, and I got some seeds, and I'm working about 6 years now.
Wow.
The seeds wouldn't start easy, and this and that, so I've got plants in the ground, and I'm still waiting to find my flowers and grow it. But
there's a lot of people here. As I scroll through the local Facebook groups, there's always people asking, where can I get that? Now, I'm not a plant guy, as we talked about this yesterday. My wife knows a lot more than I do about it. But I see, where can I get these? Where's there a nursery? How can I go about doing this? And when I was at your place yesterday, I also noticed you had a lot of guides, a lot of printed material, that you give out to people, which is really helpful. Because if someone handed me a plant, I'd probably kill it by accident.
Right.
Not knowing what to do. I don't know what needs sun. I have no green thumbs.
That's okay. You got your wife, I hear.
They're all brown, yeah. So why don't look? Let's do this before we get into details. why don't you tell us a little bit about how you got started?
Yeah, the history of Finca Feliz is pretty cool.
Yeah, we'd like to hear that.
My whole life, I had this yearning to have my own place, my own little place where I could grow my organic food, because I've been that way my whole life.
Sure.
And I like juicing. And I wanted to go out and pick things fresh and immediately juice it. That was kind of how it all started. And when I came here, I started looking for a small piece of property that I could transform into my lifetime dream.
Yeah.
And after renting for 2 years, I had to move because my house needed a new roof. I found the property that I have now, and I took out all the coffee trees. Most of the coffee trees were spent.
Yeah.
They were old and they weren't happy anymore. Yeah. So I
you had
took
said
out,
they were at the end of their lifespan.
Well,
yeah.
they've got about 25 years, and then they go, I'm done.
Done.
And I watched them do it. I kept 50 on the other side of the orange trees, and I harvested those for 7 more years for my own coffee. And then it was like, I'm done. So anyway, there's no more coffee trees on the property, but I've transformed it with my avocado trees and all kinds of stuff that I've put in. The avocado trees are 10 years old now, and I have 3 different varieties, 2 butters or mantequilla. One of the trees grows 2-pound avocados, and the other 2 trees at the other end grow 3-pound avocados. Yeah. My record breaker is 3.5 pounds.
I've seen some of them hanging there. They looked.
And they're going to get bigger.
Wow.
They're going to get bigger. So right now they flowered. The bees did all their work, and you saw a bunch of little guys hanging in the tree. And when they're ready, I will let everybody know and come on up and get some.
So you found the place that you wanted to the place you're at now.
Right.
You found the property and cleared out the coffee trees when they were done, when they were finished.
Right.
The thing that your whole place impressed me, but the thing that really impressed me was your greenhouse. I did not expect that. I didn't expect. Not only did I not expect that, I didn't expect the variety of stuff that was in there, and that's where I got to taste those. Those little blackberries.
The blackberries. Well, the greenhouse created a purpose because when I got here, and I grew blackberries we're in California. So when I got here, I had an opportunity to buy blackberry plants for like 50 cents each.
Wow.
And I'll never forget, I got 45 of them.
Ooh.
I planted them back behind the cabinas in the first spot that I decided I would start planting something. And it turns out that the birds like it. And then I would put window screening over them to protect them.
Sure.
And then the plants would go, get me out of here. I mean, I kind of have a communication with the plants. They would, get me out of here, get me out of here. I want this off of me. So the greenhouse was born.
Yeah.
And half the greenhouse is the blackberries, and the other half are my own personal whatever I grow. But I do harvest my seeds.
Right.
So as people have seen in my announcements, I'm offering seeds organically grown that you can't get here because everybody wants cilantro and this and peas. I grew a giant leaf basil. I mean, the thing was that big.
Wow.
And I just harvested all the seeds, so now I'm starting new ones.
Yeah.
And so I just like to have fun with it, and I don't want to have what everybody else has because you can go there.
Yeah, well, I'm reading. You've sent me a good amount of information. I appreciate that. So I'm reading here. You got medicinal and culinary herbs, succulents, hibiscus, lilies, birds of paradise, heliconia, purple iris, again with blackberries, thimbleberries. You gave me
that was the little red raspberry I gave you.
Yeah,
and it looks just like a thimble. It's got little things around
and it tastes like candy.
And it's really sweet.
Oh my gosh, that was so good. I wanted to ask you for another one, but I didn't.
Actually, I'll get a whole bunch pretty soon.
Now I've been to nurseries before in the United States, just do a little buy stuff for landscaping, and I've always had to buy something that's already either in a clump of dirt or in a pot. And you had mentioned yesterday that you do it a little bit differently. You can come by there to get clippings.
Well, sometimes people want to just get a cutting. This is the time of year to put your cuttings in the ground, and you don't have to worry about watering it. So things like hibiscus and certain things that root very easily. I mean, I've got tons of hibiscus and all these different colors surrounding the property. So if people, I've got hibiscus for sale too, but if you want to go and get some cuttings, it's an opportunity to be able to do it.
Yeah, that...
There's different kinds of gardeners out there.
Yeah, and as I've mentioned, not just on this show, but as a regular public service, that don't give me a plant. Yeah, I'm not really good with that. But I have friends of mine that have these just absolutely unbelievably gorgeous gardens. You know, everything is all is pathways and what.
Right.
And I know they're really fastidious about what they plant and then how to cultivate it. And I know that you've got a lot of information to offer people who maybe want to get started in something like
Absolutely.
that. Maybe you just
there are
have
certain plants you can put in your garden that keeps the bugs away. I've got so many little baby aloe veras that I'm literally offering one for free to whoever comes.
Yeah.
And the manzanilla seed. Manzanilla is the chamomile. It's what they call chamomile here. That grows a little tall.
I love chamomile tea as a kind
and
of a
it makes
bedtime
little
ritual.
daisy flowers. Well, those flowers are also used in medicinal teas.
Yeah.
The garden likes them. It keeps the bugs away.
Yeah.
And so we just kind of grow it everywhere. And you just take the seeds and scatter them, and they come up.
Yeah. Well, is there anything that someone should avoid planting, say in the rainy season, or avoid planting in the dry season? Because a lot of people just go out. Now that looks pretty. Let me get that, and they'll plant it, and then nothing happens. And
I don't know. I mean, what
not
grows
really
here grows here
Yeah.
annually, pretty much.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
you can't say, well, don't grow this in the winter when it's raining, because it's going to
then
get
it's
it.
going to get it anyway, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Wow. I know you because from our conversations and from what I've read, you have a good amount of medicinal herbs and tinctures and whatever. And I know that I wanted to discuss that, and that's why I asked you if you had any particular thing you wanted to say, or any particular item that you wanted to maybe feature. Because
well, this is what I'll say.
Yeah.
I was at the market for many years.
Yes.
And I do make tinctures out of medicinal mushrooms that the Chinese have used for 200 years. I grow some of them myself, and then the rest I get from people who gather them organically in the Oregon, in the forests of Oregon.
Now,
Yeah.
what is
a tincture?
What is a tincture?
A
Yeah,
tincture,
what is it?
Okay, so you get the mushroom, whatever it is,
Uh-huh.
and it's dried.
Okay.
You put it in a big jar, and you add alcohol to it. I use vodka, because this is the highest potency I can get here.
Sure.
And you just let it soak
Huh.
in the jar, and sometimes it can take as little as 2 weeks, and some things I let for 6 months.
Wow.
So it can really get
So
it in.
it absorbs it, and
Yeah,
then,
it sucks all the nutrients out of it, and so then it becomes in the liquid.
oh.
And it's a concentrate, basically.
Okay, and how do you use that?
You just do droppers under your tongue.
That's simple enough.
Yeah.
I thought it was this complicated process.
No, I make things easy.
Well, that's good because like I said, I get with some of my friends that are really really into gardening, and after I'll ask a question, and after 5 minutes I'm lost. I have no idea what you're talking about, and but I like to look at it.
Yeah.
I enjoy going to nurseries, and I enjoy going to my friends' houses that have these gardens. It's very, very peaceful.
Well, if you can't beat the beauty of it. Yeah.
Yes.
And nature is what we need to surround ourselves right now with everything else that's going on.
Well, yeah, nature's always good to surround yourself with.
Yeah.
And we used to, my wife and I, when we first got here, we used to do a lot of hikes.
Right.
And we never really did it with a tour guide, but we always had, one of our friends with us who seemed to know what everything was. Every bird, every butterfly, every insect, every plant.
Yeah, there are people that go on hikes here, like a certain day a week.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, they come down my road.
Oh, they do.
Yes.
Yeah, we've been to many of them, and people have pointed out to me This is they'll point to a plant, and it only grows here in the cloud forest, and it's used for this, and it always interested me because, especially in a retirement destination, there's a lot of people here, more so than maybe in a like a beach community, that are on a lot of medication. There's a lot of pharmaceuticals here. There's a lot of medicines that are made in the lab. There's just a lot of, and there's also a lot of alternative medicine here. There's a lot of people that use natural products.
A lot of people like me who have come here from the States have brought their intelligence and their knowledge with them.
Yeah.
And, if you're looking for someone who's more alternative, usually they're out there.
Yeah, and I know that in many cases, alternative medicine sometimes gets a little, chuckle, and all that. But, I use some myself. And people that I know that have either, I guess you call them practitioners, right? And the people I know that have used their medications, they work. They're working, for whatever reason. Again, I don't know.
The reason, I'll tell you what the reason is. The reason is the body is getting something natural. The body heals itself. You just got to give it a little push. You can usually put the body in a state of self-healing if you're doing the right things. And that's why those things work, and it seems like, what's going on? Because the body's made to heal itself, and these things happen where the body's going, I can't do this. And so you have to put the body in a space of self-healing, basically.
Yeah, there's quite a wide array of people here who offer, various different, methods of maybe a substitute for a pharmaceutical or for some sort of other therapy. I've got friends of mine who do, I guess you can call it electromagnetic therapy. It's people I know that use various, herbal things. And it's funny because the people that's not funny, it's interesting to me, is the people that I know that use a lot of natural products, plant-based products, they're healthy. Right, they say, well, I used to take, all these medications when I was in Canada, when I was in the States, or wherever their passport country was in. My doctor prescribed me every morning. I'd empty out a pill box and I'd take 20 pills. And now, they may still have to take, certain ones for, whatever. But there's been a lot of people that I've met over the last few years that have traded out a lot of their pharmaceuticals for different herbal remedies, and I think that it's important, if that's something that you want to investigate, you should be able to have a source to go to, and I know that you do a lot.
Well, I just know what I know, and basically this is how I've lived my life.
But
I don't have credentials. I'm not a PhD or this, or I don't even have a plaque that says I'm an herbalist.
Yeah.
I just go down rabbit holes, learn what I want to know.
Well, how long have you been doing all this?
Well, actually, okay. When I was 14, I met my future husband.
So about 20 years ago.
Yeah, right. When I was 14, I met my future husband, and his parents were health food fanatics.
Okay.
Now, we're talking like early 60s.
Okay.
There wasn't even a health food store out there. Yeah. They used to go to this little hole in the wall where they knew they could get food that didn't look pretty, but it wasn't sprayed.
Right.
And so I got that when I was 14, and I wound up marrying him and being part of the family and all that. And so I got that education really young. So I was lucky. And so I've always leaned toward doing the healthy thing.
Sure.
In my past, basically, I was kind of artistic, and I was a potter for many years. That's how I made my living, making pots. And then after that, in 1990, I got my license to be a massage therapist. Mm-hmm. And I carried all that stuff in, and I did massage therapy for 20 years.
Wow.
And that, of course, put me down the rabbit hole of learning this and learning that and blah, blah, blah. So it's just over all of these years that I've accumulated all this. And if I have a question, thank God for the internet, I can see what it is.
Sure, yeah.
And I know which are the good sources to go to and which are the ones that are giving me crap. So
yeah, well. Not that there's any crap on the internet.
Oh, no, not at all. So, so then I moved here, And 2006, I left and went to Costa Rica for 2 years. It wasn't what I had signed up for, and I decided to take my 3-day visa trip to Panama City.
Yeah.
And it changed my life.
Sure.
My guy who drove me around for 3 days, I was looking for where do I want to go, and I said, where do the expats live in Panama? He said, Boquete.
Yeah.
That was it.
That's pretty much where
changed my life. I came back here, and in 3 days, I knew I was coming.
That was it, right?
And that was it.
Yeah.
And I have really good intuition.
Yeah. It's a beautiful part of the country.
I've been very happy here. The weather here is happy. You'll never see me go to the beach or the lower level. I'm not interested. I want to stay right here.
Yeah, I'm not much of a beach person myself. You know, my wife and I both grew up on the shore. She's from South Florida, and I grew up on an island in New York. So, you know, it was only natural for us. Well, you know, you spend a whole life or many years of your life or those formative years in one type of a climate. When it comes time to retire, you don't want to go stay there. So the mountains was a natural choice for us.
Right.
And I really didn't know about the diversity of the microclimates here. We just did pretty
there are
much
13 different microclimates.
Well, I know
here.
that now. Yeah.
Yeah,
and,
we all know that now, right?
And you know, but
so you get to pick and choose.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. You know, there's so much, like I said, diversity here. Is that you can. We lived in Alto for a while, and then you know we live in the valley now, and it's even though it's 3 kilometers away. And then I've got friends up in Alto Kiel and up in Los Anjos and up in the hills up there, and it's you can find whatever type of climate you want. You can find here, and I guess it's the same with,
as long as you don't mind the rain.
Oh yeah, I don't care about the rain. Rain never bothered me.
It keeps me from having to water. It's my favorite time of year.
Yeah, no, the rain never bothered me. My only requirement was I don't want to be where it's cold because I have no tolerance for cold weather.
Right.
But it seems that no matter where you are here, you can have a really nice garden. You can have a really nice, maybe even a little finca. They're everywhere. It doesn't seem to matter whether you're all the way up at 6,000 feet or my neighbors.
Well, and the other part of that, which is really cool, is we don't have seasons. We have dry season and wet season. So things that take 1 year to grow in the States, like peaches, I get peaches 2-3 times a year. We don't have the same kind of season, so you can grow all year long.
You get peaches?
Those 2 trees that had the little baby
peaches. I didn't even know peaches grew here.
Well, they're not supposed to. That's why everybody says, you're growing peaches? Well, they're not market peaches. They're about that big. And but I grow them for me.
Sure, why
You know,
not?
I got 2 trees when I started planting the place, and I'm from California, so I got things I knew. I got peaches, I got strawberry guavas. We grew those too. So, you know. Yeah,
we have a pomegranate tree in our yard.
Oh, I'm still waiting.
And which actually, I don't know how old it is. It was there when we got there, but we get pomegranates off of it. Yeah, and we have this other tree that we just discovered. My wife just discovered it like last week, and then the tomato family, and I guess I can scroll through Facebook and get the actual name of it. It escapes me, but they look like little cherry tomatoes, but they're not cherry tomatoes. And when they ripen, they just basically fall off the tree. And she's discovered these, and they're really sweet. You take a bite, it's sweet, then bitter, then sweet, all in one. Let's see if I can find it. But yeah, and you know, we keep discovering things here. You know,
I've discovered. I've been a gardener my whole life, and I've discovered more stuff here that I never knew existed. The thimbleberries, I never knew about those. Other people did, but if you live in colder country, I guess they kind of grow wild. And there's all kinds of stuff here that I've never seen before.
Yeah.
The Suriname cherry.
That's actually
the Uchua.
That's what it is, a Suriname cherry.
You know, I thought you were talking about that.
Yeah, and I read that. I'm on my wife's Facebook page
Okay.
now. I read that the same time that you said it, and she just texted me. Suriname.
Okay, yeah.
Thank you for listening,
When
baby.
I got my property, a good friend of mine who's Panamanian gave me 3 that were this big. She gave me 3 Suriname plants, this big.
Yeah.
And I planted them, and now they're huge.
Yeah, this has
I've
got
had
to be.
prune them back. They do grow the most amazing fruit, but you got to keep it from the birds.
Yeah,
And you have to wait till it turns bright red,
Yeah.
and then it's ripe. But the seed inside, I mean, you just put it down into the ground, and you'll start a new plant.
Wow, this thing
Real
is
easy,
gotta
but
be
they
10
grow slow.
It's got the one that's in the corner of yours got to be 10 feet tall.
Yeah.
Because we got to get in a chair. Actually, I reached up and pulled the branch
Right.
down. But yeah, she was told that they could be poisonous to animals.
I can't imagine how that could be.
Yeah, I don't know. But someone
No.
had posted that keep them away from the seeds away from the dogs or a part of it. I'm sure she'll probably catch me in a minute.
Well, okay.
But she seems to like
I
it.
won't take that person's word for it until I check it out myself.
Yeah.
That's just who I am.
Yeah. But she loves them.
They're amazing.
And I haven't tried one yet. I'm not.
I didn't have one to offer you at the time.
I'm not as brave as others are when it comes to trying new foods. But I might.
Well, you got the thimbleberry.
I
and you
did
like
get
that.
the thimbleberry. That surprised me. That was
There's
really
a whole
good.
world of wonder out there.
I know. I was never a fruit and vegetable guy. I was just, give me the steak. When my wife and I go out to eat, we'd get a steak and potatoes and vegetables, and I'd give her all my vegetables. She'd give me all of her meat, and it was a beautiful relationship,
There you
right?
go.
But she bought an air fryer a while back and has started making.
My friend got one, and he can't stop talking about it.
Oh my God! I'm eating fruits and I'm eating vegetables now.
Right.
Right. So, yay! Right.
Yeah.
I guess that's
and
good
I'm
for me,
under
but-
the impression it's basically just a fancy confection of it.
Yeah. Okay. She just says here. My wife just texted me. She said they're not poisonous. The seeds are bad for dogs, but the fruit is fine. That's what she was told. So I don't know, but
We'll figure that out.
We have 2 little dogs.
Not that the dogs go eat them, because quite frankly, I mean, I don't know.
Ours,
You don't usually feed your dog seeds.
No, but we have one dog that pretty much eats everything.
Oh, okay.
Rocks, you
One of
name
those.
it. Yeah, one of those little ones.
Right.
But yeah, it's amazing though the things that that we had a gardener come to our house. Our previous gardener was actually not just somebody with the weed whacker. I mean, she was a proper gardener. And she would prune back everything, and she'd call me over, and she says, this is this, and I haven't seen this over here before, and I don't remember any of it, but it's like there's a never-ending varieties of plant life here.
Yeah.
That it's so diverse, and there's so many different varieties of
And there's so much
everything.
out there that's medicine that you don't even realize it.
Well,
you call it a weed, and they call it medicine.
Yeah.
So that's the part that got me.
I met this guy last year. His name was Calixto. He's passed away now. He was a medicine man for the Gunayala. I spent a week in San Blas, and he knew. Oh, what did his daughter told me? Hundreds.
Yeah.
Memorized hundreds of recipes.
Oh, yeah.
And he was the pharmacist for
Right.
for the tribe.
Right.
And I really hadn't known a whole lot. I know that they're out there. I know there's a lot of medicinal value to plants.
And I've learned a lot. I had kind of a situation where I had people that they would weed and they would weed whack. But if I showed them a plant or a leaf that had a disease, they didn't know what to do. That wasn't what I needed.
Yeah.
And it was 4 years into the property, and I'm quite a manifester. And I just I gave the universe a threat. I went, you don't bring me somebody who knows what they're doing, I'm selling the farm. Honest to God, I said it out loud, I said it out there, and 2 weeks later, the most wonderful person came into my life who is still there. And she's the one that's taught me this. I actually have, it's kind of a small family, and she's taught me so much.
Well, do you know? Would you be able to? And I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but do you know any, say, common medicinal uses for plants that we might have access to here? I mean, what could be used for something?
Well, like for example, when
excuse me,
when my gardeners feel like they need something, okay, so I grow lemongrass. You take a blade of lemongrass, and you take the flowers off the manzanilla blooming, the little daisies, and she takes that and the mint, spearmint.
Sure.
And then, depending on what she's working on, if it's a stomach thing, we'll put baldo with it, and then we just wrap it all together and make a tea out of it. She brings it to me, and I steep it in some thing and make a tea out of it.
Wow.
If it's for a cold or some kind of sinus thing, that's what that eucalyptus is for. I grew the eucalyptus, so we had eucalyptus. So depending on what you're doing, and I'm really not the expert, but she's taught me something.
Yeah, I'm sure you know a lot more than most.
But that's what you do, and you just take a combination of certain herbs and make a tea, and that's what they do.
Yeah,
that's what they do.
Yeah, that's fascinating to me because I've had the opportunity over my lifetime to have people prepare things for me.
Right.
You drink this. Now I never got a lesson. This is what's in it. This is how you prepare it. It's just, here. This will make your stomach feel better, or here, this will make you sleepy, or here, this will make you.
Well, you have people taking care of you. That's great.
Yeah, well, I really have my whole life, and
I have to take care of myself.
I noticed that they work, and like a lot of people, you just move on. I think it would probably be beneficial for us as individuals or caregivers, maybe, to have a little list of some of these things and maybe a little spot in your garden where you can grow them. I think,
that's why I sell them.
Yeah, I think if you ask most people, even skeptics, they would rather put something natural into their body than putting in, a pharmaceutical.
We got to talk about common sense here. It's common sense. But you have to understand, people have been indoctrinated and mind controlled on so many levels, and part of what I'm finding is breaking those and finding your own path.
Well, yeah, that's not,
because what's right for one person isn't right for another.
And that's absolutely true. And I think that's, if you can get to that point, in your life where you can just do your own thing without having to necessarily answer, to the man, you're in a good spot. And I've met a lot of people here. There's a lot of retirees here that no longer have those constraints. I have to do this because my boss tells me to or whatever. They're just enjoying. This is what I want to do, and this is how I'm going to do it.
And that's the way life should be.
And, well, yeah, I mean, it should, but, you know how that goes,
why do
right?
we have to turn 65 or 70 to get there,
I know. You know what they say, youth is...
But we're there!
Youth is wasted on the young, right?
It's true.
But regarding these... When I was looking around your place, and I saw the variety of things you had showed me your seeds, you told me about how, what you do with them, they're all organic and everything's all natural. There's no pesticides or anything. And I was looking at you showed me your little orchids, and you showed me your spots that you had set aside for things, your aloe plants. And, I got to thinking, okay, yours is more than just your average backyard garden. But if you have a property here, even if it's a rental property, usually you've got some, unless you're in an apartment, some space. Is there anything that maybe through all the experience you have that you would say, if you're going to do anything, if you're going to plant anything, if you're going to grow anything, here's 3 or 4 things that I would recommend that you should have just because?
Right. Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to consult people. What I like to do is have them come to the farm, see what I've got, see what I've done. I mean, that's a citronella plant over there, I'm saying.
Oh.
They don't know they know what citronella is, but they've never seen the plant.
I've never seen the plant. And when you gave it to, you picked the piece
big
off.
One, yeah.
Yeah, and I smelled, I was like, oh yeah, that smells like the candles I get at Home Depot.
And it's great for the garden. It keeps the bugs away.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm happy to consult with people. I like to have them come see, because they might say, oh, well, I like this or I like that.
Or what is this?
And I can show we put the mint here and this and the... For the bugs, because I don't have bugs in my greenhouse. Now, there's a secret to that as well. There's 2. I have a special product that I use called Soil Tap that my friend brought into the country. It took 3 years for Panama to decide, yes, this is organic, and we certify it.
Okay, all right.
And I'm pretty much his distributor. and it's 4 different products. One's for the soil, one's for the roots, one's for the immune system, and the flower tap is to make more flowers. So why do I get so many blackberries? Because I put the flower tap on the plant before it blooms.
Is that a spray or is that?
Yeah, they're all
sprays.
They're all sprays. Oh well, actually, a lot of them you put 2 drops in a gallon of water. Like when I'm sitting there making new plants and I want to give them a little food, you just put a few drops in a gallon of water and you just use it to water. But yes, you can use the spray as well. You can spray the ground, whatever.
Yeah.
And that product is like the best kept secret here as far as... I used to sell little kits where there would be 1 ounce bottle. They come in, 16 ounce bottles. But I used to make a kit, 1 ounce, 4 droppers in each one, so you could try it, And I swear to God, I sold over 50 of these.
Wow.
But nobody came back for more.
I wonder why.
I don't think they got into it. You know how you do something, you think you're going to do it?
Yeah.
So the product is still available in 16-ounce bottles, and you can come to the farm and you can see how great it... People look at my orange trees.
Yeah.
Orange trees look bad here.
Well, they look like lemons because people...
No, the leaves, they get black.
Yeah.
You don't see a real healthy orange tree here. Until people come to mind and say, "Oh, this looks really good."
Yeah, because I guess because of advertising, we all expect the oranges to be orange. You see all the commercials from Florida and California.
No.
Someone handed me an orange here. It was a while back, and I thought they gave me an oversized lime, and I said, "No, it's an orange." And when you cut it open, it's an orange.
Is it a juice orange? Because I have a juice orange tree and I have a navel.
No, they were. I think they were. I bought a 50-pound bag for $4 from someone, and we had a little juicer.
Right.
And my wife sat there and made.
That's what I love to do.
Oh, it was so good, but they don't look good. When you look at them, they don't look like an orange. They look like something, maybe a bad lemon or a lime. They weren't orange. They weren't colored orange.
Well, I don't know what that means. I know,
but they were good.
I've learned a lot here because I had to throw away what I learned and learn new here. And I actually did a garden class a few years ago where I told everybody my secrets, because when you come here, things are different.
Oh yeah.
And that was cool. The thing about the oranges, because I grew them too in the States. The thing about the oranges here is you don't wait for them to turn totally orange. It's going to be a little green, little orange, and that's really when they're the happiest to be picked. If you wait till they fall on the ground, no.
Yeah.
And sometimes bugs and worms can find their way into it. Mm-hmm. And because I say, oh, no, it's not ready yet. Well, I realize that if it's a little green, it's still good for the oranges.
Yeah.
And my oranges are very sweet, but again, you have to feed them.
So what does one feed an orange?
Well, I'm talking about the garden products that you use to give them the nourishment they need.
Yeah, it's when you look at when a person looks at farmers that have been farming here for centuries, literally the same way. And they're very successful at it. Their produce is delicious. It's all very tasty. There's got to be how do you not realize that just because something is new doesn't mean just because a process is new doesn't mean that it's necessarily better. I've run into people that I've met here that are 5th, 6th, 8th, 10th generation farmers, and they've been farming their land the same way.
Right.
There's no machinery. There's no irrigation systems. There's none of the modern things you would expect, like on a factory farm.
Well, of course not.
And
but that's more natural.
It's real. My wife and I have consistently say that the fruits and vegetables here are so much better than what we were used to. Pineapples. I never used to really be a big pineapple fan. Then I come here and I get a pineapple, and she cuts it open. She goes, "You've got to taste this." And literally, I'm sitting there. She cut it, diced it. I'm eating an entire pineapple, which probably isn't good for you.
And this is one of my main things that I proselytize, so to speak. You have to pick food when it's ready. If it's not ripe, you don't pick it. And that's the thing. People will pick, for example, you think these pineapples that go to the States are ripe? No, they're all green and they ripen on the trip. So you're basically getting a piece of fruit that wasn't picked ripe. Here, you get it ripe. And that's the difference.
So that's the difference, yeah.
Big
because
time. Even the blackberries, I can look at one and say, oh, no, you need 2 more days. And believe me, the sweetness comes in those last 2 days.
Last couple of days. Yeah. I've just noticed that, and I think maybe I have a sweet tooth, right? I've always had a sweet tooth. It's probably why I'm diabetic. So I never really, I used to love oranges because to me they're sweet. But outside of that, I was never a fruit guy because they just never had enough sweetness for me. And I just thought, well, maybe I'll just never be, someone who likes fruit or vegetables for that, mainly fruit. But when I came here, it's like a life-changing. If you have a sweet tooth and you don't like fruit, and you come here, it can literally be a life-changing event. Mm-hmm. When you bite into something here, and it's something you've eaten your whole life, but you've never quite like with me with the pineapples,
right.
Never quite have tasted fruit like I have here.
Right.
And I'm an inquisitive guy, so I was asking questions, and that's what I learned. Well, we've been farming this way for 300 years, for 75 years. Our family's had this land, and this is the way we do it. This is when we pick it, and then we put it on a truck, and we sell it on the side of the road, and some gringo like me comes by and gives you $1 for it, and it's like a religious experience.
Some of this like fruit a lifestyle. I love it.
It's so, it's just. I'm not usually at a loss for words when I describe something, but the fruit that I've eaten here, it's just incomparable to what I grew up on, and what I guess a lot of us, maybe from Canada, the States, or Europe, or whatever. It just seems that.
But it's that transportation time, and they pick it when it's not ripe, and they expect it to ripen on the trip. Bananas, same thing. Mm-hmm. They're all picked green. Look. These are my dulce bananas. I grow dulce bananas.
Yeah.
Now, these are sweeter and a much better flavor than the other kinds that you buy in the store.
And they're green.
And it's, you pick, okay, so they're fat and ready to pick.
Right.
They're still 2 weeks away from ripening.
Okay.
They're just starting to turn because they've been picked 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
And then you let them turn yellow and you eat them. But that's the thing.
So I take the banana, and by the way, ladies and gentlemen, Lynn gave me some bananas. Give Bolivar some bananas too. But
I brought you a great big.
I got a great big bunch of bananas out there. So if I take those bananas home, put them in my little.
Just put them in a basket and watch them ripen.
So how long? So today is the.
Well, I can tell you that they're going to start ripening this week.
Okay.
And they're going to start to turn yellow. And then people are a little like, I like it this yellow, I like it that yellow.
That was my next question.
And so you get to pick it the way you like it because it will ripen right in front of you.
Well, what should I look for, if we get these bananas? If someone comes to your farm and says, okay, I want to buy some of these bananas from you. What, in your opinion, is the optimal time to eat them? Is it all yellow?
When they turn yellow.
All yellow or yellow
when
and brown?
they turn yellow. I'm the kind of person that likes it. Some people like it a little green. I know people that are using green ones and cooking things with it.
Yeah,
That's a whole other thing.
I've heard that. Yeah.
But yeah, like once the banana starts to ripen, you're looking at a week before it gets like.
Mushy.
Yeah, so it's like some people like it not quite ripe. Some people like it overripe. Yeah. The birds take it any way they can. Yeah. I feed the birds with these.
Okay, well, I have a confession to make. Okay, I haven't ever eaten a banana that I think was grown here. I'd go to the grocery store and I'd get the big yellow bananas.
Yeah, those are grown here.
But I've never had one of these little ones. And
these are the best.
Are they better tasting?
I started growing them when I first got the farm, and I got some transplants. And what they do is they grow families around them. So you have one makes the big flower, makes the big banana, and after you cut it, you literally cut the whole stalk as well, and there's new babies coming up around it, so it's constantly producing.
Okay.
Which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
And so there was a time when I didn't have any bananas for a long time, and I wanted some bananas, so I just went and bought the commercial bananas down there.
That's what. Yeah.
The flavor was so horrible compared to these, I gave them to the birds. And I waited for my bananas to come in.
Wow.
So I eat bananas when I have my bananas
So now I'm going to be watching those bananas.
Yeah, and I also sell the plants. I have the banana plants because they make little babies, so I transplant them into a pot.
And those
you can have them for yourself.
And those will grow anywhere here. You could put them in your yard.
Yeah, pretty much. I would show somebody how to grow it because the first ones I had fell over
Oops.
years ago. So now we kind of make it so that there's like a big mound of dirt around them.
Right, to keep them.
To keep them, and so anyway, they're happy that way.
Wow, that you know it really does. It fascinates me every time I get to meet or talk to someone who, has this much of their self, invested in nature. I grew up in New York City.
Yeah.
Seeing a tree, unless you went to Central Park, was rare. And I'm a city boy.
Southern California was a little easier than that.
Well, yeah. Well, I've spent time out in L.A. in the Bay Area too, but it just when you're in a tropical climate, when you're in an area like this, it could be very easy to overlook what's around you. It's very easy. Okay, well, this is what I'm doing today. I get up, I get in my car, I go to the restaurant, I have breakfast, I come back, I watch TV. You get into, into your routine. And maybe, when people come here, a lot of people come here the first, few months or so, they're doing the hikes. But then you get into, you get into pattern.
You find out what works for you.
We're creatures of habit, right?
I was volunteering and doing this and that when I first came here, knitting for the knitting people and animalis and all that, and that's how you kind of plug into the community,
and you find
a few people that you like, and then once I got the farm, I had to spend all my time with that.
Well, yeah, but it seems to me that it doesn't matter if you're only here a month or if you're here 10 years. Time should always be, I think, should be allotted on a regular basis, just to get away.
No, I agree.
just to get away from the town. From
coming here is part of making a change in your life.
Yeah, well,
and if you're just bringing whatever you had there here, I mean, that's why I left Costa Rica. I was living in a place that was a little too hot for me. Yeah. I was right next to the volcano and the hot springs, but I wound up going into my apartment in the afternoon and watching TV because it was too hot and I needed the air conditioner. And one day I went, I didn't sign up for this.
Yeah.
And I started at that moment thinking, where else do I want to go? And it took me 6 months to find this.
Well, it's nice to live in an area where you don't need a heater or an air conditioner.
That's it.
And maybe a fan, fans help.
Absolutely.
But, not to have that, that noise going all the time and whatnot. It's just, the climate here is, for those of us who have chosen to stay here. It's funny, you mentioned being a life-changing event. When you look at the population of, say, let's use the United States because that's my passport country, and then you look at how many people are actually living as expats. This is where I like to tell my friends that I'm part of the 1%. It's a lot of people. It is it's a huge culture shock. Whether you think you're prepared for it, you read about it, you watch videos. And I think when some people get here, they just, it's not for them, and that's fine.
And that's okay. You have to have the experience before you can really judge it.
But the people who have ventured out, and even if it wasn't for them, well, that's a little notch in their cane. That I did this.
Absolutely.
I left my comfort zone. Moving to a country where you don't even speak most people don't even speak the language, and the culture is totally different. Is one thing, but then to take it a step further, and to immerse yourself in the environment around you, and to try to understand, well, what kind of wildlife lives here. I know we don't have, wildlife like elephants, but we have.
Hey, that video that went out a while ago of the 10-second things of the jaguars. Did you see that?
I did. Someone sent that to me. And,
that was great.
So you have,
It came from Pana Times.
Yeah.
That's where I found it.
Yeah. Someone had actually, one of my friends had sent me that link. It was right before I had a gentleman on the show who was a snake expert.
Uh-huh.
And he had spent decades in Costa Rica, and he wrote a book called Snake ID Panama. It's got a website and all that. So I was talking to friends, and someone had sent me that clip, and I was like, this is fascinating. It's just amazing. Yeah, if I can find it, I'll post it on Facebook. But I think...
Well, it was on Pana Times, and then the other place I saw it after that was... what's his name? Saturday, Panama Perspective.
Panama Perspective, yeah.
He posted it on that as well. So one of those two places you can find it.
So what we're gonna do? We got a few minutes left, and I told you this time flies. Just an hour goes by. Like people are like, what am I gonna talk about for an hour? Don't worry, it'll be gone before you know it. I'd like for you to let people know when they can see you, how they can get you, and how they can contact you. And then when I do my production post with the video, I'll put all that in there. But for now, how do they go? How do they find you?
Synchronicity is on my side right now.
Okay.
I posted a announcement to the news lady last night before I went to bed, and she posted it this morning.
Right.
And I have a mailing list if you want to be on it, and those are the first people that always get my information.
Sure.
And then I send it out through News Lady. It's basically the same announcement.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some pictures at the bottom, which was, of course, really cool because you could see what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And so look for your News Lady announcement today that went out. First class nursery in Boquete or something like that. And all the information that they need is right there. I do not have WhatsApp.
Mm-hmm.
I have been a rebel about the smartphone from day one.
Yes, I
and
remember you telling me
I'm sorry, that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
But I have a Panama cell. I prefer email, and all
Right.
that information is on the announcement. And what I'm doing is I'm making this a private nursery and open
By
to the
appointment,
public,
yeah.
open by appointment only.
Yeah.
And because I don't want a bunch of people showing up at once, and I can't help them. So people are literally making appointments. Oh, this day at this time, and they come, and I'm able to give them my total attention and find out what they want, who they are, what I can do for you.
Yeah.
And that's how I'm running it right now.
And your place is easy to get to.
Yeah, fortunately, I'm on a good corner on Volcancito.
Yeah, and the road that you're on is I want to say paved, not really paved.
No,
it's more like
they're pavers.
They're pavers.
Yeah, what happened was we had a neighbor who totally decimated our road. It was just kind of a road, not even. It was just dirt.
Yeah.
And he decimated it with water pipes and this and that, and so we all got together as a neighborhood and paid for what you see now.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It
Oh,
really
it's great.
is. And your sign is right at the entrance with an arrow.
Well, I had this
yeah.
great big basura on the corner, which was kind of an eyesore, but I wasn't moving it. So I put the sign right on it. So now you don't see the basura and you see the sign.
Yeah, that's because
and the sign is my logo. Anyone who knows me knows my logo.
Well, I know I was coming up and
I
thought,
had this
did
guy.
I
He says, "Do you have a logo?" And I handed him my piece of paper with my logo on it, and he came back with a hand-carved sign of my logo. So, I mean, that's cool.
Yeah, and I really, again, if you have an opportunity, ladies and gentlemen, to make an appointment and go see Lynn at Finca Feliz.
Finca Feliz, and I'm happy to give you a tour of the farm and tell you what I need, what you might want to know.
And what I'll do is I'll post. We're recording a video now, and as you know, Boquete Now has its own YouTube channel. I'll put the video up, and I'll put whatever information you send me. Email me. This is what I want to have on there. Phone numbers, whatever. I'll make sure that goes on there.
Oh, okay.
And then you can share that video, with whoever you want. Put it in a link in your newsletter, whatever. It's a public YouTube channel, so
That's
there's
great.
no codes or anything to get in.
No, we like that. YouTube can still do a few good things.
Yeah, it's good because it's very shareable.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't matter if you have a Mac or a Windows or an iPhone or an Android. You
Right.
could just watch YouTube anywhere, and so
That's right.
it works well for us too. So. We're down to about the last minute and a half here, and before I go into my close with my commercial, I just want to say thank you again, Lynn.
Well, thank you. I appreciate your helping me spread the word.
This
is my new reset.
I have enjoyed I enjoyed my visit yesterday. That was phenomenal, and thank you for the plant you gave me and the bananas. And Bolivar, don't forget these are your bananas over here too, my friend. And
those are yours.
Yeah. So before we go, I wanted to let you know that Mother's Day is coming up, and if you're really looking for a good place to eat, there's a pop-up kitchen that is popping up at the old Colibri restaurant. Celebrate Mother's Day. That's May 9th from 3 to 9 p.m. They'll be there. It's $45 a person, but man, what you get a welcome cocktail and amuse-bouche, an appetizer, palate cleanser. You get a main course and a dessert, and so don't forget, you got Chef Alexander Rojas and Chef David Mendoza, two award-winning chefs that are teamed up with Finca Santa Marta Landau and a Garrido Specialty Coffee. So don't forget them, May 9th. You have been listening to Boquete Now, Talk Radio. We've been speaking with Lynn Vanderkar. I got that right. Finca Feliz.
Happy Farm.
Happy Farm. We are here every Friday from 10 to 11 on Radio Cherokee 103.3 FM, sponsored by Big Daddy's Grill and the ACCB. Everyone, you have a wonderful, wonderful weekend, and we will see you next week.
Thank you.